Beloved spiritual warriors, have you ever wondered about the relationship and significance of spirit animals and us humans? If you have, then stick around because you're about to find out. Greetings, my beloved spiritual warriors. I hope each and every one of you are having a great day thus far. We are at the beginning of the week, so I'm hoping that your week has started off on the right foot. So over time, I have had many clients asked about the significance of spirit animals and what they are, or can our ancestors or our spirit guides, can they also deliver a message to us via animals? If you would have asked, if I'm honest with you, if you would have asked me this question 20 years ago, I would have probably said no. I've never been someone to doubt anything, but it doesn't mean I believe in everything. So 20 years ago, I probably would have said, nah, I don't know about that, or just not something that I am aware of. But over the years, and studying more and digging deeper into spirituality in its various forms, I'm able to come over the years to this conclusion about the importance of animals and how it can be very significant in messages that we see in our daily lives. So for example, can animals be spirit animals? Can they be, so for example, let's go back a little. Spirit animals, power animal, totems are terms used interchangeably within different tribes and cultures. So therefore, but at the same time, it's all the same thing. Spirit animals, power animals, totems, etc., etc. I stick to spirit animals. Ultimately, spirit animals are an expression of our psyche, and that's what many people don't know or haven't really pondered on, the fact that spirit animals are an expression of our psyche, and I'll tell you how. Reason being because spirit animals are deeply rolled into our genes when you really think about it. How so? Because when you think about it, the entire history of evolution is inside each and every one of us. So there's no way for us not to be connected to spirit animals, or to animals, to the animal kingdom, and the animal kingdom to us. There is a relationship that's codependent, actually, when you really think about it. There's an endless history of connections, the ties, and the relationship of our codependency on nature and on animals. So therefore, we are definitely connected in all the sense of the word. One of the reasons why our psyche can communicate through spirit animals is because ultimately, us humans, for the most part, many humans are not afraid of animals. It's something that is natural to us, connecting with animals, or seeing an animal, whichever it is, a bird, a deer, a butterfly, a dog, a cat, an owl. There's something about the animal kingdom that we feel connected to, which is why our psyche is able to communicate to animals, because there's a history between human beings and the animal kingdom that's unshakable, unbreakable. So most people are not afraid of animals, and therefore the animals can communicate to us, and we with them as well. Spirit guides who once were humans can come to us once they have left the physical body and left this terrestrial plane, or the third dimension, right? And they go into other dimensions. Spirit guides or deceased loved ones or ancestors can come to us either in human form, via our dreams, revelations, divination, sometimes in spiritual seance, or through our meditations, that can show up to us in human form, but they can also show up to us in animals, in any form of animal. And many people don't know that. The ability to communicate in various forms is a human's expression of freedom in the afterlife. So therefore, in the afterlife, we basically choose how we want to come back, or we basically choose how we want to reveal ourselves to the humans that are in this terrestrial plane. We can come back in dreams and show up as we are in the human form, or we can show up as an animal. And I've proven this over the years with the practice of seance, of mediumship, which is something that's not, let me make this clear, something that's not totally supported when we are speaking through the Orisha tradition or Lukumi tradition. It's not something that we even think of, because that's not the norm in that side. But from the spiritual aspect of the practice of spiritism, it's very acceptable, the fact that human beings, when they transition into the spirit realm, they can choose to show up in your dreams or meditations as an animal if they choose to. And I'll tell you an interesting story that happened to me with a client years back. Moving forward, they will not always come to us in human forms for a specific reason. A lot of people do not have the capacity to deal with seeing their loved ones in human form. Even if it's in a dream, they don't always have the capacity to see somebody in human forms. And there's many there's many reasons for that. So it's dependent upon the person's societal norms, what they have normalized in their life as normal, based on their religious traditions, their belief system, their walk of life, and their societal norms. It may not be something that they believe in or connect to or understand or even have the capacity to be able to grasp. So therefore, as a spirit guide or as an ancestor or as a deceased loved one, they know that. So therefore, they choose to come in different forms so that they can still guide us, help us, support us, or enlighten our path and our journey in this terrestrial plane. The experiences that people have, in a personal level, as to the things that we normalize, will determine the form in which a particular spirit guide will choose to show up for us. Each person's, stigma will have an impact as to how a deceased loved one or an ancestor or a spirit guide will choose to show up for them in a particular situation or experience of their life. So therefore, as a spirit guide who wants to help you and guide you, reveal something to you, we'll say, this particular person may not be able to understand or embrace or accept me in the human form if I'm to show up to them via a dream or a revelation or a meditation in human form. I will transform into this particular animal to still be able to send them a message or give them a message or give them the support or the guidance that they might need at that particular moment. When we abandon the body, which I already said, but I'll say it again just for those of you that really need to hear this. When we abandon the body, we have the freedom to show up as we choose. It's our choice of expression in the afterlife. So therefore, it's people, spirit guides, and can also metamorphosize. So in a dream, they will probably show up, in their human form. I had a dream, like when people come and they tell me, I had a dream with my grandmother. It was your grandmother because she's showing up to you in that human form. But if that particular grandmother, or if your spirit guide knows that you may not have the right level of understanding of being able to embrace them showing up as in human form, they will show up as an owl, as an eagle, as a different bird, as a deer, as different various animals that are there are over 1 million animal species, right? So therefore, they will choose as to how they can show up to you. Okay, so definitely meaning that they have the ability to show up in each way, in whichever way they choose to. The various meaning of animals varies from tradition to tradition, from culture to culture. So there's not one specific definition, like a dog means this and only this. No. A deer means this and only this. No, incorrect. An owl or a crow means just this and no. There are various definitions of a particular animal. What my advice is to you, for those of you that have animals that show up, and sometimes you wonder, this is the third time I see this butterfly. This is the third time I see this deer. This is the third time I see this particular animal. My advice to you is that because the definitions of animals vary between cultures and between traditions, right? So for example, the Native American culture's definition of an animal will vary greatly from that of the Chinese culture. And the Chinese culture's definitions of animal will vary from, the animals from the African cultures. And it will also vary different from the Greek cultures and so on. So my advice is, when attempting to understand the meaning of a specific animal, my best advice is doing your research within the culture that's connected to your family's lineage. So therefore, if you have a history, if your lineage is Native American, then it is probably most wise to do research based on your lineage because you are Native American. Okay, so try to do your research based on your family's, lineage, to determine what that particular animal that shows up for you so often means to you. So years ago, I had an experience with a client. This is one of the stories. I have a whole bunch, but these are one of the many that I can remember off the top of my head. I had an experience with a client, and they came in for a reading. First timer, never had a reading before, skeptic. She was recommended because of a particular issue that she was going through, a legal matter that she was going through at that particular time. So she came in for the reading, and during the reading, I said to her, what do you have to do? Do you have any connections with horses? What do you have to do with horses? And she looked at me like funny. She was like, I don't like horses. This not my animals are not my thing. I have nothing to do with animals. I've never had one, and horses, I'm not even into horses, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what you're telling me. Well, if you don't know what I'm telling you, I don't know what I'm telling you either. But Spirit knows that whatever answers you need, whatever it is that you're lacking, whatever it is that you're needing at this particular moment to get over this hurdle that you're going through legally, my Spirit is telling me that it has to do with a horse. Mind you, Spirit oftentimes tells us things that we ourselves don't know what the hell they're saying. So, I gave her some recommendations of things that she could do spiritually to try to, come out as victorious as possible from that particular situation. And she left. She didn't look too happy. About 2 months later, she came back for a reading. She booked a reading. She came back. I was surprised. And she sat down and she told me, I cannot believe that you saw what you saw in our last reading. And I'm like, I couldn't remember. I read for so many people. I can't remember everything that comes up for everyone, right? So she said, remember when you told me that, the answers that I need are related to a horse? Well, anyway, point of the matter was that her late husband, or her late partner, they weren't legally married, but it was her late partner. She's had a legal battle with the actual wife that her late partner was still legally married to. Point of the matter is that he was the one that was actually into horses. And he was the one that grew up in a farm where his grandfather grew horses. But that's not the point. The point was that what Spirit said in her reading, that whatever she needed was in the horse. And she did not know, I definitely didn't know what in the world Spirit was talking about. Well, it happens to be that in her home, one of the few things she still had in her possession that belonged to her late partner was a frame of different horses. There was a frame, big picture of a frame of picture of different horses. And behind, in the frame itself, inside the frame, like for instance, this is a frame of, well, this is a peacock, right? But imagine that this is all horses. So inside this frame, there was legal documents signed by her late partner. They were letters. There were different things that was what she needed and helped her win that case that she was going through. And it happened really funny because she said that she had no idea. She said she was just sitting in her living room. She was looking at the frame and she was like, horses. And she looked at it and something prompted her. Obviously, she knows now. I definitely know that it was her late partner's spirit that prompted her to, whatever you need, I left it right there for you. Go check it out. And something told her to go into the frame. She went into the frame. She opened the back of it, pulled it out, and all the documents that she needed were hidden in there. Point of the matter is that our deceased loved ones, our ancestors, or even our spirit guides may very well choose to show up as a spirit animal, as a totem, as a power animal. Never doubt the significance of the animal kingdom. Never doubt the significance of animals, whether it's in dreams, revelations, meditations, in a reading, based on my experience, right? Never doubt the significance of animals when they show up. You could be driving somewhere. This is another story, true experience actually from someone that I know. You could be driving somewhere to do something crazy because you're pissed, you're highly upset for something that has been done to you, and you're about to lose it and do something that you could end up regretting. And you could be driving to confront someone, and all of a sudden you see, I don't know, a butterfly, right? And Lord and behold, you never know if the butterfly might be your deceased grandmother, might be your deceased father, might be your deceased mother, might be your spirit guide that shows up in spirit form, right? As a spirit animal, shows up to try to calm you down or change your mind or help you see that what you are about to do can ultimately destroy your life. Never doubt the strength and the significance of spirit animals. If you've had an experience with spirit animals, if you dream about them a lot, if they show up a lot in your life, out your window, what have you, leave a comment. I hope you like this video. Hit like, leaving a comment as to what your experience with spirit animals are, or if you have questions regarding spirit animals. And hopefully you will share this particular video, and I hope it makes sense to you. Many blessings to each and every one of you, my beloved spiritual warriors. May you have a prosperous, happy, and most importantly, safe rest of your week. Be blessed.